Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be looking at some battles that were submitted to me by Purple Kyogre PvP. He's also a content creator. Go check him out on Twitch and show him some support. He's really talented. I'm really looking forward to reviewing these battles because they feature ZYGARDE complete form in the Ultra League, and I can only dream of having one of these. I've been working on it for like forever, and I still don't have enough cells. So it's really nice to get to see these battles and see how it performs in Ultra League because, again, I don't have access to one. So maybe this video is going to make me want to go look for those roots and really try to pick up the slack on collecting all those cells. The team that he's using is ZYGARDE on the lead with Shadow Feraligatr and Tentacruel in the back. You have that Tentacruel to take care of the fairy types, which the ZYGARDE is going to be weak to. Now, I can't really explain the whole strategy. I haven't seen these battles yet, so let's just watch these matches, have them do the explaining for us, and from there, we can probably figure out his strategy. And I should say, this team is ABA weak to a few things, like it is ABA weak to Alolan Sandslash, but given how bulky ZYGARDE is, maybe the things that are technically ZYGARDE counters, they don't end up being that big of an issue, again, because ZYGARDE can outbulk some of the Pokemon. Actually, speaking of Alolan Sandslash, we are going to be seeing one right now, and it looks like he safe swaps into Feraligatr. So let's just jump into the matches and watch them. He safe swaps into Feraligatr and the opponent brings out Goodra. We do take a shield from them. We were able to bait them and make them think that maybe we had an Ice Beam. We're just going to let the Aqua Tail go here, and it looks like the opponent is going to have to throw another Aqua Tail, but we are investing a shield. So let's see what happens here. It looks like they brought the Alolan Sandslash back in, and they took a Hydro Cannon. He brings the Tentacruel in instead of bringing in ZYGARDE, and the opponent blind swaps into Alolan Ninetales, probably expecting the ZYGARDE. And because they did that, they end up top lefting. If they had stayed in with the Sandslash, they would have won this game. Anyways, moving on to the next battle, it looks like we are going to see a Shadow Dragonite on the lead. The opponent immediately swaps into a Cresselia, and we do throw a Crunch from the ZYGARDE on the Cresselia to get them pretty low into the yellow, and then we bring in our Feraligatr. Now, we end up shielding their Future Sight. It looks like the opponent is running a Future Sight in Moonblast Cresselia, and then we're able to take the Cresselia out with the Feraligatr, of course investing one of our shields, and now we can bring the ZYGARDE back into this Dragonite, and it looks like our opponent is going to have a Tapu Fini in the back, and Tapu Fini is going to get walled by the Tentacruel, so they go ahead and they top left. Moving on to the next match, we are going to see a Registeel on the lead, and Registeel is only going to be able to hit for neutral with those Focus Blasts, and that barely did any damage. Now let's just hope that the opponent doesn't call that we have Earthquake. They no-shield it, but I guess that even if the opponent did call that we had the Earthquake, they still would have no-shielded that because ZYGARDE's damage output is not that great, let's be honest. It is a tanky Pokemon, it's not a damage-weighted Pokemon. They did let the next Earthquake go, however. We're able to get the Registeel out of the way, which means the two water types that we have in the back should do pretty well against whatever the opponent is going to have left. But it looks like our opponent is going to have an electric type in the back. It's going to be a Shadow Zapdos, and it makes sense for him to shield the Feraligatr here because he got to that Hydro Cannon, and the opponent absolutely has to use their final shield. Now, that ZYGARDE actually still has quite a bit of health left on it, so he brings it in, and he forces his opponent to throw the Drill Peck, and we let the ZYGARDE go. Of course, we can bring the Tentacruel in now and Poison Jab the Zapdos down, shield whatever the Zapdos is going to throw. The opponent has no shields left, so we can land a Blizzard on a Giratina that was in Scald range, but, you know, landing a Blizzard is fun, and we take that win. Alright, now moving on to the next battle, we are going to be faced with a Shadow Empoleon, and it is going to be hitting us for neutral damage with those Steel Wings. We are going to build up to the Earthquake and then bait with a Crunch. We manage to take a shield from our opponent, and we no-shield this Hydro Cannon. It hurts quite a bit. I'm guessing we're going to go ahead and invest one of our shields here to shield one of the Hydro Cannons, and then we go for another Crunch. Now, we swap into our Feraligatr, and the opponent is going to go for a Drill Peck. We're still in the green, that's fine. Looks like the opponent is going to be running a Hitmonchan. What a spicy team. We're able to take it out with a Hydro Cannon and with a Shadow Claws, and our opponent is going to have a Shadow Gallade in the back. We're going to bring in that ZYGARDE, force our opponent to throw some energy, and we can bring in the Tentacruel and hopefully Poison Jab this Gallade down. At least the Gallade is not going to be able to hit us for super effective. The Leaf Blades are going to be neutral, but it looks like the opponent needed 3 there, so we were able to take that win. That is going to be a 5-0 in this first set, taking him back into the 2,900 ELO range. Let's move on to the next set. In the first match, we are going to see a Greedent on the lead, and Greedent is actually pretty decent versus the backline that we have. It is going to be resisting the Shadow Claws from the Feraligatr, and it is going to be doing super effective with those one-shots against Tentacruel. It's also going to be super spammy with those Body Slams, but I assume ZYGARDE would be able to take care of this pretty easily. He goes for an Earthquake, which he manages to land on the Greedent, and then the opponent swaps into an Annihilate. Of course, we're going to bring in the Feraligatr. It is absolutely going to be doing a lot of damage with the Shadow Claws, and we only need to land 1 Hydro Cannon to take this Annihilate out. It looks like they are going to run Ice Punch. Really nice call here, not shielding whatever the opponent was going to throw. We managed to take it really well, and we land a Hydro Cannon on the Annihilate. Of course, both of us had to invest a shield in that matchup. The opponent brings the Greedent back in, takes the Feraligatr out, and they also manage to land a Body Slam on our ZYGARDE. Now, the opponent is going to swap into a Mandibuzz, and we immediately bring in that Tentacruel, really hoping that the opponent doesn't call that we have the Blizzard here, but they call it and they shield. But I think we should be able to reach another one. We still have a shield left as well if we don't survive this Dark Pulse. It looks like he is going to go ahead and invest his final shield anyways. And the opponent attempted to catch the Blizzard on their Greedent, but they do it unsuccessfully. We bring the ZYGARDE back in. We have the energy ready for a crunch. Take the Greedent out. We also have a Blizzard ready on our Tentacruel. The opponent is going to farm our ZYGARDE down completely, but it's not going to matter because Tentacruel is going to win CMP over Mandibuzz, and we are going to take another win there. Moving on to the next battle, we are going to see another Greedent lead. Now, if our opponent decides to stay in this matchup is going to take a lot of time. Greedent's going to go for those Body Slams. We're going to go for the Earthquake, and hopefully the opponent doesn't shield the Earthquake. Let's see what they decide to do, but they go for a third Body Slam here. Again, Greedent is just really spammy. Any matches I have up against the Greedent, they last forever. We're able to land the Earthquake and get the Greedent into the red at least. They get us into the red as well, but it looks like they are going to be in crunch range. So we go for a crunch, we manage to take it out, and the opponent is going to have a Giratina with Dragon Breath in the back. We're going to let whatever this is go. It's just a Dragon Claw. It doesn't do that much damage, but the opponent is going to have an Alolan Ninetales in the back, and it looks like we are switch locked. That's why we're staying in here. I was going to say, why aren't we swapping out? We're switch locked. Yeah, that makes sense. The opponent charms the Feraligatr down, and now we can bring in the Tentacruel and go for a full farm down and have a ton of energy built up for the Giratina. We should be able to reach another Blizzard, actually, even if this Blizzard didn't land, but the opponent went ahead and no-shielded it, so that's fine. We're going to take this win, but we were going to be able to reach another one, again, because Tentacruel is super bulky. Now, moving on to the next match, it looks like we are going to be faced with another Alolan Sandslash, and I really want to see how this plays out. In the first game, the opponent messed up, the first game that we faced the Alolan Sandslash. This game, I want to see what he does against it because this is a huge core breaker for the team. So he swaps in the Feraligatr and he manages at least to land a Hydro Cannon on the Alolan Sandslash, so it is in the yellow, and then the opponent brings in Tentacruel. We managed to get the Tentacruel really low with the Feraligatr, which is really nice. Again, the Feraligatr is going to be running that Crunch, which is going to be neutral, and also he managed to get the defense drop from the Crunch, which made that matchup so much better in his favor. The Tentacruel is now out of the way, and it looks like we are going to invest our final shield up against this Alolan Sandslash to shield the Drill Run. We reach a Scald, and the opponent actually catches it on their Annihilate. Now, we don't have any shields left, so we have to take the Shadow Ball, but we are going to be able to double up on the Scalds and throw them back to back here. The first one is going to take our opponent's final shield, and then the second one is going to land, and it's enough to take the Annihilate out. They bring that Alolan Sandslash back in. It has barely any health left, and we're able to Poison Jab it down and take that win. Moving on to the next battle, we're going to see a Gliscor on the lead, and I think ZYGARDE should be able to handle this pretty well. It is, of course, going to be going for those Earthquakes, and it looks like he decides to shield the first Earthquake. Okay. interesting choice. I really wanted to see how much damage it would have done to the ZYGARDE. I guess we're gonna see how much it does here. It actually doesn't do that much, honestly. Again, ZYGARDE really tanky. The opponent swaps out a Gliscor into a Tentacruel, and ZYGARDE is going to be resisting the poison jabs. We reach a move, it's only a crunch, but the opponent goes ahead and shields it, and then they go for a Scald. We let them take us out, and we're going to bring Tentacruel in now here up against this Tentacruel in a mirror match. Because they have less health, we should be able to win this. Now, the opponent swaps out into a Lantern. This is going to get really tricky because the 2 Pokemon we have left are going to be really weak against this, and also our Tentacruel is running 2 moves that are going to be resisted. Of course, we're going to have to go for the poison jabs, which are the only move Tentacruel has that can hit for neutral against this Lantern. We get it into the yellow with the Tentacruel, however, and we bring Feraligatr in. The opponent catches the Hydro Cannon on Gliscor. That's completely fine. We still have a shield left for Feraligatr, so we should be able to Shadow Claw this Lantern down. And oh, it looks like they are going to be able to reach another move. It's only a Surf, but we have a move ready for the Tentacruel. We go for that crunch. It's enough to take it out, and we're going to be able to take that win as well. On to the next match, we're going to see a Skarmory on the lead, and I think ZYGARDE would have done okay against the Skarmory. The Dragon Tails would be resisted, but we can go for that neutral crunch. But he swaps out into Feraligatr anyway, and he draws out a Poliwrath. So we're just going to be able to go for these Hydro Cannons up against this Poliwrath. We have nothing that is going to hit for neutral or for super effective. Poliwrath is going to be able to take our Feraligatr out. We can bring Tentacruel in and go for a farm down and have a lot of energy for whatever the opponent is going to bring in. It looks like they have a Shadow Swampert in the back. So maybe if we stayed in with a ZYGARDE against the Skarmory on the lead and tried to win lead, we would have had Feraligatr aligned to Swampert, and then we would have had Tentacruel aligned to Poliwrath. But I don't want to speak too early. This match can still go in our favor, so let's see how it plays out. We're going to go for a crunch against the Skarmory. They're going to be forced to throw a move here because we were going to make it to another crunch, and the opponent still has 2 shields left. All we can do is hope for an attack drop here. We didn't get it, and I think the opponent only needs to land 1 Hydro Cannon, so they're able to take a shield from us with the first Hydro Cannon. We let the second Hydro Cannon go. Gonna go for another Scald here, but the opponent has a shield left, and it looks like we are gonna be able to simultaneously KO, so it's not a loss, it's a draw, and that is going to be another 4-1 set here, and that's gonna bring us to the end of our video. Again, another huge shout out to Purple Kyogre PvP for submitting these battles. Go check out his YouTube channel. Go check out his Twitch. He's a very talented battler. If you guys like my content, please consider subscribing. Maybe leave a like. It helps me out so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!